that means that you're alive as a human being and you feel a little bit safer. When we have some tears come up in our eyes, or when the tears start to come out, it means that we are feeling vulnerable. We may also be feeling other feelings, but we're starting from some vulnerability. And of course, in order to feel vulnerable, we have to feel safe first. A lot of the time in daily life, we face difficulty and something hurts us or bothers us or stresses us or makes us angry, but we put on a brave face. We push those emotions aside and we go on with life, which can also be a good thing to do. And sometimes when we stop and we come back to ourselves and we use our soothing touch, and soothing touch activates this connection, this caring system inside our bodies. It creates a sense of safety that allows us to open up. And then the tears come. And then of course we have to see what happens next. If it suddenly feels like a dam is bursting and there's so much water we feel like we're going to be overwhelmed, we might decide we need to close up a little bit. But some water coming up in our eyes, our tears coming up in our eyes, that's not a problem. It's a sign that you're alive. This question reminds me of how our minds never rest. They're always looking for something to judge. They're always looking for something to evaluate. Our mind is always making some comparison. So of course, whatever my experience is, I compare it to someone else's experiences. Are they better? Am I better? Are they worse? Am I worse? Right? So you notice, I think the invitation is to notice the automaticity of this kind of judgments that our minds make, all of our human minds make. And of course, it's quite natural. Our mind is a social mind, human beings, a social beings. We're always interested in other people. We want to be connected to other people. We're afraid we won't have connection with other people. And we're trying to keep ourselves safe by comparing ourselves. Am I acceptable? Am I okay? Will other people like me? But of course, we learn in life that part of being able to be at rest, at peace, and happy is to recognize that my experience is valid too. And my experience does not have to be the same as my friend's experience. There was a famous book that was published many years ago, and the title of the book was, I'm okay, you're okay. The idea being is we don't have to be the same. Whatever my friend experienced isn't normal, and whatever I'm experienced isn't normal. There's no normal. There's a natural spectrum of different experiences, and my friend is part of it, and I'm also part of it. With certain kinds of things, practice is very useful. Repetition is very useful. Practice makes progress. If you want to learn how to play tennis or how to swim or ski, the more you do it, the better you get. If you're trying to learn a new topic, if you're trying to learn engineering, or if you're trying to learn history, the more you read about it, the more you know. Self-compassion is a little bit different. It is useful to practice self-compassion. We know from the research that for certain kinds of compassion, like loving kindness, there's a relationship, what we call a dose-response curve. The more a practitioner has practiced loving kindness, the more change we see, for example, in some of their brain activity, and in their subjective experience. But sometimes we can try too hard. And then with self-compassion, it doesn't work anymore. Because then I start thinking, oh, well, I'm trying to be more compassionate and I've been practicing self-compassion every day, but it's not working. What's wrong with me? Oh, this is just another thing that's wrong with me. I can't practice self-compassion, or self-compassion won't work either. So we have to remember this. It's useful to practice, but sometimes we focus too hard. So we say we practice self-compassion not to feel better, but because we're suffering. We offer compassion to our friends because they're suffering. And if our friend doesn't immediately change or cheer up, we don't reject our compassion. And we have to offer that same spirit of compassion to ourselves. And it's just like we grow a flower or you grow a beautiful plant in your house. You know that that plant has the nature to grow. And so you water it every day. You try to give it sunlight, because eventually the plant will grow. And your practice is the same way. Just like the plant, you may not see the change every day. From day to day or from week to week, it might look exactly the same. But it will grow, because you also have the nature to grow. And when conditions are right, you will see the signs of that change. So Dr. Chris Germer teaches that when you practice self-compassion, there are three possible experiences you can have. You may feel good, you may feel nothing, or you may feel bad at the moment that you practice self-compassion. Some people may experience goosebumps and they feel it's neutral, or someone else thinks it's good, someone else thinks it's bad. You'll have to decide which of the three you feel it is. But if you decide that sometimes it's too much or it's feeling bad when you practice self-compassion, that's the moment when the compassionate thing is to close up. If you feel like it's too much for you, or that it's not a feeling you want to experience right now, we talk about closing compassionately. And it's very useful. Part of self-compassion is knowing 4 or 5 ways that help you to distract yourself and close up compassionately when feelings come up that you don't want to deal with right now. Some people might say, well, you should deal with this feeling now. You have to learn how to take care of your feelings or solve these problems. That's not the voice of self-compassion. The voice of self-compassion is truly asking, what do I need? And sometimes what we need is to close up. So you might make a list for yourself of the different things that you can do that help you to close up when you just don't have the space or you're not ready to deal with a certain feeling. We have another technique that we use in self-compassion training to check out where we are right now, which we call the 3 zones of safety. So there are 3 circles. The innermost circle is your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is the place where you feel at ease, at rest. It's really important to have a comfort zone, because a comfort zone is where we feel safe and we can recharge. And we all need a place where we can recharge. The area outside your comfort zone is your challenge zone. In the course of daily life, we always do things that take us outside our comfort zone. That might be in our personal life, it might be at work. And when we can go out into our challenge zone, that can be very useful. Because when we're out in our challenge zone, we can learn new things, we can develop new skills, we can grow. But it uses energy to be out in our challenge zone. And if we go too far out into our challenge zone, we can get into an overwhelm zone. And that's not good for us. Research about being overwhelmed is very clear. When we are overwhelmed, we cannot learn effectively, we cannot communicate effectively, we cannot grow. Our good judgment, our problem solving, our planning, it's not available when we are overwhelmed. So in fact, it's very, very useful when we can develop the ability to take our own temperature and check in and ask, where am I right now? Am I in my comfort zone? Am I in my challenge zone? Am I in my overwhelm zone? When I'm in my overwhelm zone, it's really very useful to have ways of closing up, of being able to compassionately close and move back to my comfort zone. Because as we've mentioned in some of the other videos, the essence of self-compassion is to ask, what do I need right now? It's not, I should be here or I should be there. But given everything that's going on in my life today, where am I right now? And what do I need when I'm here? Do I need to be in my challenge zone or do I need to be in my comfort zone? And of course, self-compassion involves learning to trust yourself, that you can know what the answer to those questions are. And in fact, you will be the best judge of that, not anybody else.